was the old inhabitants of the Holy Land?
Canaanites.
Right. So it was the will of the Lord that the Canaanites be put out the land. Why? Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of what?
Witchcraft.
Witchcrafts. Wasn't we reading about the different forms of witchcraft?
Yeah.
See? No, we want to call ourselves Hamites. Okay? And wicked sacrifices. So what are some of these wicked sacrifices? And also those merciless murderers of children. So the Canaanites were the ones putting the children through the fire, sacrificing them, right or wrong.
Yeah.
And devourers of men's flesh. What else were the Canaanites doing? Eating people.
Cannibalism.
Cannibalism. Edie, I mean.
Idiot, I mean.
So you got cats, serial killers running around as we speak, eating people, saving body parts, and they exalt these guys, make movies off them. Hannibal Lecter was a real doctor who was to go into body parts and eat people. He ain't the only one. He had others, Jeffrey Dahmer and all that. So these dudes, they already be knowing the makeup of these guys, and these dudes be a part of the covenant. See? Then it said, and the feast of blood. So were the Canaanites about eating and drinking blood? Just like today. Look at Israel, they come out the restaurant. How do you like your meat cooked? Israel, give it to me medium rare. It's juicier that way. He's supposed to be having a meat with blood in it still. It's supposed to be cooked, fully cooked, right? A lot of these elites be drinking blood. Say it gives life. Yeah. It said with their what?
With their priests.
See, so we talking about priests again. See, with their priests out of the midst of an idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help, meaning babies. That the land, see, the Lord said, they got to get out the land. That the land whom thou esteemest above all other, the land of Canaan, the land of Israel, might receive a worthy colony of who? God's children. Who was God's children? Israel. It's you today. You God's children as we speak. All praises. And the Lord don't want his children involved in this wickedness. You see that? What we're reading about. He don't want us involved in these different forms of witchcraft. So all praises, the Lord is calling us out of all this stuff. So we supposed to praise him. So going back to Deuteronomy 18, it says, verse 13, thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. See, so we wasn't supposed to do this foolishness that the nations would do. Say, for these nations which thou shalt possess, hearken unto observers of times and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord thy God have not suffered or allowed thee so to do. See, so it wasn't just the Canaanites. We read about the Babylonians. This kingdom does the same thing today. But like it was said, look who the Lord, the Father, wanted us to deal with for success. Verse 15, the Lord thy God will rise or raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee. Meaning this prophet would be the top prophet out of all prophets. And he would come of Bethlehem. He'd be born in the midst of Israel. It said, of thy brethren an Israelite, like unto me. See what Moses was telling the people? This prophet is going to be just like me. Meaning he's going to be an intercessor, a mediator. He's going to come and teach them commandments, perform miracles. It said, unto him ye shall hearken. that powerful? So Moses was prophesying how Israel, our nation, is supposed to deal with Christ for success. You see? So when they try to tell you that when Christ went to Egypt, that's where he learned his magic from, how can you prove that to be false? That's what they teach. Christ was a magician and he learned his ways when he went to Egypt. He learned all that. How can you show that that's wrong?
Stand right here.
That's the answer.
First you did sin. You'll be sinning if you do that.
Moses wouldn't be in all this, right? He's teaching against all this we reading about. Christ would too. So how would Christ dibble and dabble in magic and all that, witchcraft, and then performing before the people? So when Israel was talking about, he doing all these mighty works through the prince of the devil, they was out of order again. Because then Christ will be breaking the law.
So did that prove right there that the Pharisees was dealing with witchcraft?
That's right.
So that's what Christ revealed when he said about Beelzebub. When you talking about if I cast out devils with Beelzebub,
Through your children, cast them out.
So that proved that the Pharisees was into witchcraft.
That's right. They had the spells over the people. You see? Paul them knew about all that stuff. That's why Paul taught against it in Galatians. Witchcraft is one of the works of the flesh. You see? You had many of the circumcision that was false prophets. Paul had to deal with were witches. See? Philip himself had to deal with a witch in Israel in Acts the 8th chapter. So we go to show you the many witches that know they Israel. They be witches, man. So this is right here is called. We supposed to deal with Christ. That's what the believer's supposed to deal with. The Most High in Christ. You're supposed to go after other gods, philosophies, and ideas, and the concepts that come from these nations. See, we got to deal with Christ only. Hear ye him. So going back to Corinthians. So all praises. You remember Paul told the Galatians, he said, who have bewitched you? It's in Galatians 4. So he had some of the circumcision in there, in the body, teaching that salvation comes through the old covenant, the works of the law. And many Galatians started to fall for that stuff. Paul said, who bewitched you? See, that witchcraft was put on them. So 1 Corinthians 8:5, it says, for though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven, so we read a lot of this, or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many, but unto us, what's the us?
Us is
Believe in
What'd you say?
believe in Israelites.
That's how you explain it. The us is the believing Israelites. Because a lot of Israel are into different things of worship, dealing with other gods. That's why Paul included himself as a believer. But unto us, the believers, there's but one God, who?
Father.
The Father. So when Moses said, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one, who was he talking about?
Father.
The Father. And the Father is the one said we to follow his Son. That's how that works. To us, there's one God, the Most High, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord, Yahushua the Anointed. He's the Son of the Father, right? By whom are all things, and we by him. So who did the Father use to create everything?
Christ.
Christ. So Christ is the one who created us. He's our Lord. He's David's Lord. He's Adam's Lord. Abraham's Lord. Jacob. See? That's who we to listen to. But that's what the class is about. We to follow him. We ain't supposed to be into idolatrous customs and ways, into witchcraft. Christ and the Father's against all that stuff, right? So how should the believers be? We supposed to be against all that stuff we was reading about also. And don't let no man take ye off where your faith is. You're like, man, I have a doubt. How? You're entertaining this stuff. Satan getting inside the feelings and emotions. That's when we start acting funny and start conforming. You stay strong. Because they coming with the pumpkin, what they call it, the jack-o'-lantern, the candy. Halloween is coming. You know, ostracized coming strongly. The children, they coming with it. They getting ready. They getting ready to dress up like werewolf, Dracula, Scooby-Doo, Casper. They'll be knocking at your door. Your light on. You say, "Come and get it." They'll be like, "Boo!" Like,
And you notice on Halloween, that's the only day it's socially acceptable for your boss to come in with a mini skirt, some high heels, stockings, and lipstick and a wig. And nobody say nothing to him. And a woman can come in full drawn, blown like a man mustache, because that's the witchcraft that be on our people. See, that's just showing you how engulfed they have us. You come like that any other day, you come up, the boss come like that any other day of the week, they gonna walk you off campus. But on Halloween, everybody get a pass. You can dress up like a nurse. The women can dress up like straight harlots. And they're not breaking dress code at the job. See? But any other day of the week, that's why, you know, this world deals with socially acceptance, what's it called? Gradualism, social engineering, be mind tricks. Because it's Halloween, now it's okay for you to dress up like a vampire at the job. See? So we just gotta be, a lot of stuff be in our face, we just gotta see it for what it really is.
That's serious. So the Lord giving us eyes to see, ears to hear, all praises. So, and you know they ain't stopping there. And after that, there's a Halloween party. And this way you get the masquerade party and all that. And here goes sex magic again. And here come the swingers party. With a rented out mansion and all this other stuff. And it's on. It's Halloween, remember. So they'll make a movie called Halloween. And it have 8 parts to it and all that. Who do you think these Hollywood directors be, man? Witches. And they know how to play on the minds of people. They can have you watch a movie and you start crying. How that happens? And have you watch a movie, you come out frowned up. Why you mad? You know how to play with our emotions. The same with music. So we want to get up out of here. The believers supposed to be talking how we talking, how Paul and the apostles, how Peter and them would talk, scriptures. You don't hear them coming praising Mother Nature and all this other stuff. This man play games, man. People are dying, hurricanes are hitting places, and he naming the hurricanes off of alphabets. What's the next one? It was the one before this one was what? Maria. Now Hurricane Nate. And you had IJKLMN. He playing. You see, people are looking for water, and you know they in atrocities and calamities. He coming with some alphabet. You think he care? Look who they got in the office in America. I got Donald Trump, man. He throwing toilet paper at people, playing games with people. Calling out the sports player names and all that. That's a game.
Call them SOBs.
And we can't see this stuff around us. It's a game. Or we want to turn a blind eye to it. Telling you, he knows how to slide stuff into the children. Little games. Ouija board. I'm taking that Pokemon. What's wrong with that? Look it up. See the horns? Look at this stuff. But we like the thing so much, so we downplay it. Do you think we playing with the Ouija board is cool? See, they got all type of stuff. Video games that's geared to witchcraft.
Yep.
It's there. They know how to get our children. Disney, what do you say? Who was Walter Disney? He was one with Hugh and all them charmers and witches. What type of movies Disney make? Look at the movies. A lot of it to magic, Aladdin.
What's that? With Angelina Jolie when she played.
Yeah,
Magnificent.
Yeah. See? Wizards of Wizardlies and all this other stuff. And what's the other one?
Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
That's so Raven.
Ellen Enchanted.
Helen the Enchanter. Nardia. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. See? All this stuff, man. So where's this coming from? See?
Yeah.
The devil. That's why we gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. And the children, you gotta know they're impressionable. No, they ain't. They are. That's how children are made. They easily to be attracted to things, the colors. Child, man, I'm not impressionable. You know what that means? Yeah. That's why they attack the children's mind. You get them in kindergarten, preschool, kindergarten. You get the mind, you cultivate that mind. Right? So that's why we always, you gotta deal with your children. You got them, you know, what you thinking about? What's going on? They always thinking and being mischievous and try to, no, I'm kicking it. What's going on? And you watch the behavior. Because by the fruits you shall know them. Go ahead, Anya.
That's why that Edomite Ted Bundy dressed up like a clown.
Yep.
That's right.
Do it to children.
That's right. He would do it. John Wayne Gacy.
Yep.
They would do it. A lot of these Masons, what they call that hospital?
Shriners.
The Shriners Hospital. The Shriners, all that. They'll come with the clown suits. See, Ronald McDonald with his big old feet and all this stuff. He got red hair, man, and he selling billions worldwide. Dude, Stephen King got a movie, The It. Look at that stuff. Who is this guy, man? What is mind at?
You see?
The thing live in a sewer.
Oh man.
See? But we just gotta be on guard, Israel. You know what I'm saying?
And you gotta remember, this stuff ain't just blatantly obvious. Because if it was just that obvious, you know, and they would just put it out front for everybody, it'd be easy to catch it. So he deals with this world deals with a lot of subtleties, you know. And they hide it in cartoons and hide it in, you know, movies and symbols and things of that nature. So it's not so obvious. And we don't think that doing a lot of this witchcraft and stuff. Go to Revelation 21. That's why we bring up the birthdays, the witchcraft, because the Lord ain't playing. When you read the scriptures all throughout the New Testament, last verse in John chapter 5, 1 John 5, he says, little children, do what? Keep thyself from idols. So when you read Revelation 21, somebody read Revelation chapter 21 and verse 7.
He that overcometh shall inherit all things.
So the angels telling us, if we overcome, same thing that they told us in 2 Andrews chapter 7. We're going to inherit all things. We got to overcome this world and the obstacles and the distractions that this world is bringing to inherit the kingdom. Go ahead.
And I will be his God, and he shall be my son.
So this is Israel's journey. In order to get the kingdom, we have to be overcomers through Christ. Go ahead.
But the fearful,
It says the who?
the fearful,
Those that are afraid. Right? Go ahead.
and unbelieving,
So those that were afraid, like Christ said, he that is ashamed of my name, in this time, I'm paraphrasing it, Christ's going to be ashamed of us when the Father comes. Because we didn't want to follow after Christ and represent Christ and keep his teachings. Christ ain't going to acknowledge us at the second coming. And then it says the unbelieving, those that didn't believe in Christ, that refused to accept Christ and follow after his teachings and continue on in the faith. Go ahead.
and the abominable,
So this is all going to take place at the second coming of Christ. And the abominable. Go ahead.
and murderers,
So we dealing with murders. It's not just talking about people that physically committed murder, they murdered somebody. It's dealing with somebody that deals with hatred. That has hatred towards their brothers and sisters, because that's another form of murder. And what else?
and
The
whoremongers,
gigolos. The fornicators. The ones that go from women to women. See? The ones that can't control themselves. Go ahead.
and sorcerers,
And who?
and sorcerers.
Is the Lord still against witchcraft in the end of this thing?
Yep.
Yes. So that sorcery would deal with what?
That magic.
We just read it. Deuteronomy 18. Divination. Observer of times. Witchcraft. Wizards. Witches. Enchanters. Necromancers. Lord's still dealing with the same thing. Sorcerers. Go ahead.
And idolaters.
And who?
Idolaters.
So who is Christ coming back for?
Idolaters.
Idolaters. This is going right along with that, what's that, Isaiah 66? We got to get that next. Because it deals with, Christ is coming back for idolaters. So if we commit idolatry when Christ returns, check out what's going to happen.
And all liars
What's going to happen to them?
shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
This is the second death. That if we don't repent, and if we still doing these things and living this lifestyle when Christ returns, the Lord said that they're going to have their part of the lake of fire. Go to Isaiah 66, because it said idolaters. People think idolatry is something, you know what, you guys are being extreme, you're being a little bit over the top. All right, because the Old Testament deals with the second coming of Christ too. Isaiah 66 and 15.
For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
So what is this dealing with?
Judgment day.
Judgment Day. This is talking about Christ's second return. See, go ahead.
For by fire,
With what?
for by fire,
Uh-huh.
and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
Mm-hmm.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens, behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse, shall be consumed together, saith the Lord.
So what is that dealing with?
Idolatrous feast. One that the idolatry part is the one who will be behind in the midst of the tree. That will be in the groves, dealing with that idolatry. And then you got those that eat the unlawful foods also.
See, there you
That's
go.
a part of Judgment Day.
Because Christ talked about in Revelation 21 the abominable. The scriptures is telling us right here what that abominable is. It's not just dealing with one specific thing. When we dealing with, he said idolaters. Dealing with all types of idolatry. But, you know, we just want to be careful. We want to be careful about the things that we entertain. We got to be, it's real subtle. And it's supposed to be that way because it's supposed to get us caught up. If Christmas, and they would explain all these holidays for what they really are, and just put it out there blatantly, a lot of people might not want to keep it if they actually knew where this stuff came from. But when you mask it with toys and trees and gatherings and family gatherings, it puts a nice spin on it so people can be more emboldened to keep these things. Esau don't care about no toys. He'll give up some toys to get the children, to get them to start worshiping these idols and celebrating it. See? And as we get closer, we'll continue to go into these things about these different pagan holidays and feast days. Because a lot of them, where they descend from, the Lord had already put us up on game long time ago. Like when you read about the Christmas tree. That started where? When we read about it? Babylonians. Did they call it Christmas? Nah. But did they worship trees? Did they decorate them? Did they bring gifts to them? Did the tree stand upright? So the Babylonians had that tradition, and guess who took it? Esau took it, and then all of a sudden the Catholic Church, they brought into their customs and traditions. See? And they added, later on and throughout times in history, you add Santa Claus and Coca-Cola and red color and all this stuff gets added to it. But the origin of it was what? Idolatry, the worshiping of trees. And now you're singing songs to the tree. You know, old Christmas tree and jingle bells and Christmas caroling. All this stuff gets involved into it. But it's subtle. And then to add to it, to finish it off, you add the name of who to it? Christ. When Christ don't have nothing to do with no Christmas. See? So when you add Christ's name to it, it automatically makes people think that it's something good. So
Just read this real quick. Yahweh. Wisdom of Solomon 14. And we'll wrap it up. And 15.
14 and what?
14 and 15.
Chapter 14 and verse 15. We in the Apocrypha.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 15. For a father
Meaning one with authority. Go ahead.
afflicted with untimely mourning, when he hath made an image of his child, soon taken away.
See, so this man, his son had died. Go ahead.
Now honor him as a god.
Now, see, since his son died, the father made an image of his son. Go ahead.
Which was then a dead man.
See, so now since the father made an image of his son, he called his son a god with this image. Which before the son was a dead man. Go ahead.
And delivered to those that were under him.
And delivered to those that was under him. See, so obviously this father had authority. So now, since the father had authority, he made a graven image. Now, he's coming with what? To the people that's under him. Go ahead.
It says ceremonies and sacrifices.
So now, he's coming with his commandments, traditions of men, different ceremonies that's going to come with the worshiping of this image. Sound familiar? What do you do with this Caesar Borgia image and all this? Talking about that's Christ. Now out come traditions of men. Just like you had this black image of Christ, which is a false image, out come traditions of men. Man worship. Go ahead.
Thus in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong.
So what's an ungodly custom? Graven images. But over time, it would grow stronger and stronger through gradualism. Go ahead.
Was kept as a law.
Was kept as a law, not God's law. God is against graven images. Go ahead.
And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
See? So men with authority come with the graven images, and the people under them follows the customs and ceremonies that's geared to the graven image. And that's what mainstream religion does on the people in this world. See? Read on.
Whom men could not honor in presence.
So whom men could not honor in presence, what you gonna say, Jay?
Does that have something to do with like funerals?
Yeah, what you talking about, the death?
Yeah.
Well, it's talking about, like, for an example, a man's son died. So he wants, the way he wants his son to be honored, he gonna make a graven image of his son that was dead. And then he gonna have the people that's under him following the customs that goes with the graven image, more so. Okay. Go ahead.
It said, who men could not honor in presence.
So the men couldn't honor this king in presence. Go ahead.
Because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far, and made an express image of a king whom they honored, to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent as
Flatter the
if.
king who was absent as if he was present, by making this king a graven image of this king. Go ahead.
Also, the singular diligence of the artificer
Right, he's the one that can make things. Go ahead.
did help to set forth the ignorant to more superstition.
So what did the Lord call the people that worship graven images and follow the custom? What did it say?
Ignorant.
They're ignorant. They don't know. So does this devil play our people's ignorance?
Yep.
That's how they come. But when the Lord blesses us with his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, we bust them. So the Lord don't be making us, his people, ignorant no more. See? Read on.
For he peradventure willing to please one in authority.
That was that, what they say, artificer, or how you pronounce it, brother? That word?
Artificer,
Okay.
artificer, however you want us to call it.
Okay. So he willing to please one in authority. So you got Michelangelo's, Leonardo da Vinci, Sistine Chapel, all this famous art, which is wickedness. You got Michelangelo's and Leonardo da Vinci's in Israel as we speak.
Man.
Photoshop, Mike.
Go ahead.
It says, for he peradventure willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion.
Just to please the king. So he'll make this picture look beautiful. Please the king. Go ahead.
And so the multitude.
And so the who?
The multitude.
So that go to show you these graven images can get the masses, bro, through witchcraft, trickery. And so the multitude, go ahead.
Allured by the grace of the word.
What it means to be a lure. Like you go fishing, you throw a lure out there,
Well, this.
draw you in.
They seduce.
Just seduce. Oh, look at that picture. Look at how on that church. Look at this. You go downtown. What's that? Alvarado Street? I get it mixed up. Alvarado Street, they got that mural. Nobody go spray paint that thing. And if people go down there and they sit on the bench and throw their prayers up to the... People be allured by the artwork. See? Say, oh, this is awesome. This gotta be of God. Look how beautiful it is. It's not of God. Go ahead.
It said, and so the multitude, allured by the grace of the word, took him now for a God, which a little before was but honored as a man.
Read on.
And this was an occasion to deceive the world.
Bingo. This was an occasion through graven images how to deceive the world. Go ahead.
For men serving either calamity or tyranny did ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable name.
See, so now you got statues. Say, that's Jesus Christ. That's the Apostle Peter. That's God. Show a child, look at this image here. Who was that? Jesus? No, it ain't. You see? Then look at this picture that come from wood. Who was that? Jesus? No, it's not. So you think this so-called European does this on purpose or by accident?
It's by
It's by design. Occasion to deceive the world. So can children, are they impressionable?
Yes.
Pictures will get you. Get them. A lot of times. See. Go ahead.
Moreover, verse 22, Wisdom of Solomon 14. Moreover, this was not enough for them that they erred in the knowledge of God, but whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace.
Confused. Go ahead.
For while as they slew their children in
See
sacrifices.
this? Did Israel get caught up in this? Get graven images and out come child sacrifice. It's just like today. So don't tell me, you mean to tell me these religions that's coming with the graven images, they ain't doing child sacrifices? It's just hidden. It's part of the custom and tradition and ritual. Go ahead.
Or use secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites.
See, this is the point. Secret ceremonies, revelings of strange rites. You come up with these holidays, these secret societies where they doing sacrifices. All that's geared to idolatry. They call hits. The mafia go out and do hits, and they from the church. They show you them Godfather 1, 2, and 3. People be telling you about these be sacrifices, man. That's why they say one of their favorite games is chess. Because what do you do in chess?
Checkmate.
You do a lot. You got to put your pawn. You got to sacrifice something, right, to get that spot you want. That's why a lot of the elite and all that's a major game to them. They know. So that's it. Video prompt on time. We want to do the communion. All praises to the Most High in Christ, Israel.
All praise to the Most High.